Hey friends, on this video we're going to talk about Search Engine Optimization 101. And there is nobody better to learn from than our Chief Marketing Officer, Jared, my son and partner. Jared has a 10 plus year background as the owner of his own digital marketing firm, specifically specializing in search engine optimization. And not only that, but specializing in the most competitive area of search engine optimization that there is on the planet, which is personal injury attorneys. And just to give you an idea, if you were to type in Chicago personal injury attorney, that top ad there was what, $250 when you began to do your research, kind of as you tried to decide where you were going to make your specialty. And so again, he's done amazing things here with Joy Organic, so hopefully you'll get some great insights that are going to help you take basically the first steps in building a website that can be found in the search results. And so, Jared, when you kind of put yourself in the position of somebody who is new, they're just starting their own CBD business, or maybe they've got one and they're saying, okay, how can I get found and begin to build a business by people finding my website? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think it really starts with content. That's the place that I would first kind of start my research. Is what are the questions, what are the articles, the web pages that I could write that would attract the people that I'm looking for to my website. One of the most important things too when you're writing content, especially these days, is that you write long enough content that Google believes that you're a subject matter expert on that topic. And that's exactly what we've done with our website, because we are targeting some of the most competitive keywords in the CBD niche. You will not find a page on our site that's less than 1,500 words. When we wanted to put together our ultimate guide, for example, 17,000 words. Why did we do that? We did that because we wanted Google to see that we really knew what we were talking about. So content's really the first place I would start.
And we just recorded a video on Marketing 101, and one of the things we talked about was getting clear on where your specialty is going to be. And so, kind of taking off on that, then if somebody was going to specialize in the pharmacy market, then they would be wanting to write every article that a pharmacy may be interested in.
Yes.
And each topic would be one where it's at least 1,500 words and that they are going to be viewed as an authority on that topic.
That's exactly right.
And so outside of content writing, what are some of the other basic things that people can do to be found, maybe through some of the local search and other things, maybe some of the non-competitive keyword phrases?
Absolutely. So, if we look in the local market, which is a great market right now, that's how we attract most of the business to the store. What our focus is on the local map listings. And there's really two primary map listings that I would recommend all of our customers take a look at. The first is Google. That's where most people start their search, right? But the second of which is Apple. So most people have, or a lot of people at least, have an iPhone. And a lot of people these days are doing searches like CBD near me. I know I did this morning. I did a search for smoothies near me. Is there a smoothie shop open in the area? And there wasn't. But at least I could immediately find that information without even searching. I just used the voice function on my phone. So I would go in, I would verify a listing in both Google and Apple Maps so that you can rank for all of the local keywords that are important to your business.
Now, verify a listing. Yeah, I don't even know what that means, so I imagine they don't either. So.
Sure. So here's what I would do. I would just do a search for Google My Business, which is what the local map listing service is within Google. And then within Maps, Apple Maps, I would actually just do a search for Apple Maps, verify my listing. And they will walk you through its step-by-step process to get your listing verified.
Now, I know that we obviously began to focus on this here with our Fort Collins store. And when I did, CBD near me, everything that came up was a dispensary.
Yeah.
And so, in different markets, obviously Google is ranking things differently.
Yes.
What are some of the workarounds if it's a...
So here's what I would do. I would just look at your competitors because, actually the very first guy I ever learned from, I was a guy named Bruce Clay in SEO. This was 13, 14 years ago. He said, listen, just do whatever your competitors are doing and then one-up them. And so I would take a look, what are our competitors doing? how are they ranking, what is the category, which is what you're talking about, that they used in Google and in Apple Maps. And what we discovered with Apple Maps is that you have to be called a dispensary to rank for CBD terms. So when we switched our category over to dispensary, we started ranking much better. So I would just, literally every market is going to be a little bit different. We're in Colorado, there are dispensaries here. There's not necessarily going to be dispensaries across the country. So I would look at your target market, or look at, your competitors actually, and see what categories they're using and just use the same category. Just piggyback off of what they're doing.
So obviously, number one, people want to be found in CBD near me in the maps for Google and both Apple. What are some other things that people can do to be found through some of the non-competitive, search terms, which obviously will be in their local market initially, but maybe some others?
Yeah, the other thing that I would look at, especially in a local market, is trying to rank other media properties or assets. And this is something that we did as well with both of our Austin and our Fort Collins stores, is we ranked our Facebook page. So when we set up our Facebook page, we created it, it said Joy Organics, and it said like Fort Collins CBD, Austin CBD. So that when somebody does those searches in Google, Google sees that title on that page and says, oh, this must be important, because Facebook is a very valuable, very authoritative web property. We're able to rank very quickly using that strategy. Another one is a lot of press release websites rank very well in Google, and so you can create a press release saying, ours said something like Joy Organics launches Fort Collins CBD store. So what do we rank for? Fort Collins CBD store. And just by putting out a press release, if you're in a non-competitive market, you can rank very, very easily.
And if people wanted to create a press release, where would be the best place they could go learn on how to create one?
Yeah, pretty much every site out there has a guide. I like PR Web. It's a great service. PR Newswire is another one we use very, very consistently. They're a little bit more expensive, but they have a broader reach. If you go to either one of those guides, or just do a search for how to create a press release, you'll come up with some. Those don't have to be quite as long. I know we talked about just regular web page content, but these can be about 400 or 500 words.
And if you would like to take a look at our press releases, you can type in Joy Organics Fort Collins, Joy Organics Austin, even Joy Organics Deer Park. We've got a new store opening up in Wichita, Kansas, and no press release on that yet, but it is on our to-do list, and we'll be creating that over the next week.
Exactly.
Now, in the last video we recorded on Marketing 101, we talked about being specific in identifying what's going to make your business unique, different, what's going to be your target. And we kind of just threw around the example of a golf shop. Let's assume somebody's going to target golf stores. So then again, that would be a less competitive keyword phrase, CBD golf, than CBD oil.
Exactly.
So if somebody was clear on where they're going to focus their efforts and who their target market is, what are some of the things they can do to besides building content for that, but to begin to get ranked for some of those unique keyword phrases?
Yeah, the other thing that you really have to do when you want to build out a web property and get it ranked is you're going to have to build trusted links. And this is, something that not a lot of people like to talk about. Most SEOs will just talk about the content side, but Google basically looks at the content, the theme that you have on a website, and then they're going to look at the overall domain authority. And the way I would describe this or think about it is think about all of the SEO or all of the CBD companies. If you put them all in a bucket, how would you determine which one should be ranked first, second, third, fourth? If they all talk about CBD, or if they all talk about CBD at golf shops or CBD for golfers, there's going to be still a handful of businesses in there. And the way that Google kind of differentiates through those is by domain authority. And you affect your domain authority by building quality links into your site. What I mean by that is you get other websites to link to your site. And some of the easiest things you can do is, have fellow entrepreneurial friends that may be local, have them link to you, maybe have them write a blog post, link that back to you. The other thing that we did here locally is we reached out to a couple reporters, and they were happy to cover this. This is kind of a new, exciting industry. And so if you reach out to reporters, you can probably get some local press. And I would just ask that, when they come and check you out, that you make sure you ask them to link back to your website, because every link is so valuable when you're trying to rank online.
Yeah, especially the links from some of the media sources.
Yeah.
And again, if somebody was to type in Joy Organics Fort Collins
Yep.
and they went through maybe the first 5 pages of search results, they're going to see a lot of the links that we got from the local press.
Exactly.
And that also then told Google that this is a local business. And so when Google's deciding how they want to rank us for CBD Fort Collins, if all the local media is linking to us talking about CBD Fort Collins, then Google's like, okay, this is the authoritative site that we need to rank.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's why we rank number 1 for Fort Collins CBD, is because we've had so many local, links, media outlets that have, talked about us.
Now, one of the things I have kind of used some terminology here, keyword phrases, and I just want to make sure people know that that's, what you type into Google. So if you were to type in Joy Organics Fort Collins,
right,
that is a keyword phrase.
Exactly.
And that would be, a competitive keyword phrase in this market. But if we were trying to, even kind of go in the long tail where there's less searches, CBD Fort Collins, golf shop, then, obviously there'd be less companies ranking for that. And that's where if somebody was in a competitive market and they were focusing on golf shops, then they could, kind of really begin to build a lot of the content targeting the golf shops.
Yep, exactly. And if you are curious, what keyword phrases are maybe most relevant, most popular in your niche, one of my favorite tools, I use it literally every day, is called SEM Rush. SEM, which stands for Search Engine Marketing, Rush, RUSH.com. And you can analyze your website, looking at a bunch of different things, but you can also analyze your competitors. If there's a competitor that you feel like is doing really well, targeting certain keywords, you can see literally every single keyword that they rank for. And so I really, really recommend that tool if you want to better understand what people are searching for.
Now, if people are wanting to kind of do this themselves, we have a lot of partners who just don't have large budgets and, they want to do this themselves. What would be your advice to somebody who wants, to begin to get ranked for some of these keyword phrases, but without spending a lot of money? How can they learn more, kind of self-educate themselves and begin to at least do the basics?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite educational websites is Neil Patel's site. It's neilpatel.com. If you Google him, you'll find him, Neil Patel SEO. He's got just a tremendous amount of educational resources on SEO, both for the content side, how to optimize your site, how to integrate your keywords in a strategic way and not really just fill up pages with a bunch of keywords. Also on the link building side, he's got some great ideas there. That's the place I would start. If you could afford maybe a couple $100 a month, and I gave this advice just a couple weeks ago to a guy saying, go find a college student that's really hungry, that maybe wants to do this as like an internship. You don't have to pay them too much. And they can go read these articles and do this stuff, especially if you're in a, not very competitive market. That may be all you need to do to rank.
Now, if somebody is like really wanting to go big after either the market at large or some specific segment of the market, what's the best thing? I mean, who would you recommend that they reach out to? They're going to need a professional firm to do this. They're not going to do this themselves. What do you suggest to them?
So, I mean, my agency, really specializes in the CBD market. Once I, started this company, I began telling my entire team, we've got a team of about 15, 16 people at the agency, about this industry, how much it was going to blow up. And we really, over there became experts in this. And so I would suggest you check that out. You can take a look at their site at internetmarketinggeeks.com. And what they are just brilliant strategists, and they can help you put together the full marketing plan, figure out who you want to target, how you're going to get in front of them, and then ultimately how you're going to rank if that's the best way to promote your business.
And they know everything right?
Exactly. And we work with them literally every month. We were just working with them, this past week on some site speed issues, which is, probably one of the most commonly undervalued things in the SEO space, is making sure your site is super, super fast. So, we're a client of theirs as well.
And, when you talk about site speed, it's all about, Google is sitting here saying, okay, who's going to provide the best experience for the people using our search engine? And a site that loads slow is not as good of an experience as a site that loads fast. So of the thousands of things in Google's algorithm, obviously one of the more important things is site speed.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so true, because in their search results, they're actually looking at how fast your site loads. They're looking at whether somebody clicks through to your site from the search results and then clicks back. That means they probably didn't get the answers they were looking for. You didn't provide a quality experience. So there's a lot of kind of usability, user-generated analytic segments that they're looking at to try to determine how quality of a site and experience you're providing.
Well, great. Well, the next video we're going to record is going to talk about the website, because you can sit here and do all kinds of search engine optimization, driving all kinds of traffic to your site, but if it doesn't convert, then it's kind of like, you're wasting your time.
Yep.
So, this has been a short little training on CBD, Search Engine Optimization 101 with Jared Smith, our Chief Marketing Officer. Hopefully you found some great value from this video.